Hi, I'm Ryan Scott, and we are Group 12. Today, we are going to talk about an innovative company that we came up with called Haulr. Haulr is an app that connects local drivers with local businesses. In our group, there are a couple of us that work in small companies here locally, and we have discovered that we have a hard time finding drivers, whether it's in a construction or roofing business, and they need to find a driver to haul away materials after they tear off a new roof. Or in my case, I work for a biotech company, and we have a hard time finding local drivers to deliver bottles to our bottle supplier, to our bottler, or finished product to our fulfillment center. So I'll end up having to go and rent a Penske truck and load it up myself because we're too small to contract the big guys, but we're too big to put it in a pickup truck. So we've realized that there's a need for local deliveries and local pickups within our metropolitan area. And for lack of better words, what we decided to do is become the Uber, connecting contracted drivers with their own trucks and their own equipment to local businesses and companies that need products or goods delivered or picked up within their local area. So today we're going to go over this business model and the steps that we need to take to be wise about making sure it succeeds.
Haulr is an innovative company that will allow contractors to be connected with those people that need goods delivered. This is something that on paper looks innovative and answers to a lot of problems that we are seeing in the current market. However, even though it answers a lot of questions, we need to better understand what we don't know. I know for me personally, in my work, there has been a lot of logistical errors in the roofing business. We have been unable to get trucks into our market because of shortage of staff and also unavailability of trucks. By allowing people to be able to be contracted and enter into the market and bring resources, this looks like an answer to everyone's problem. However, there are a lot of things that we don't know. For example, we don't understand the market size. Are people able to do this? What kind of cars will they need to drive? What kind of money will they be expecting? Will we be able to service the customers? How will we be able to meet the demands of shortage of dates? These are all things that we don't know, that although we are very optimistic about the product and what it can deliver, we need to understand and we need to make sure that we know before entering the market. One of the biggest things that we need to understand before we enter the market is what we don't know. A lot of times throughout this class we have learned about understanding what we don't know and how likely we are to be able to make an incorrect decision based off of what we want and hope. By what we have planned on doing, and what would be a great solution to this is to be able to test our market hypothesis and experiment within the market to be able to see, for example, with Northridge and other logistics suppliers, is the shortage truly due to lack of drivers, or are there other indicators that are preventing businesses from thriving and customers from getting their product? As we discover and unravel these problems that companies are facing, our company will be better structured to be able to service those that are in need. We will be able to get product to people, and we will be able to ultimately satisfy customers' demand.
As we continue to do more market research and perfect our business plan and figure out exactly what the clients need and how this app can best help them, we were going to be really very conscious of avoiding any sources of inaccurate beliefs, focusing mainly on the big three ones: anchoring, availability, representativeness. Going through these a little bit, everyone says, when you hear a new business idea, it's the blank, I'm starting blank and it's the Uber of food, or blank, it's the Uber for vacations, blank, it's the Uber for this. And, we're claiming that this is going to be the Uber for trucking and transporting goods across America. But even though we do this, we want to be very, very careful that we're not anchoring our business to this idea and making bad decisions that may making decisions based on what Uber did, but maybe won't work for Haulr. So we have Uber as our first initial idea that kind of sprung this. We don't want to continue to anchor to that and be caught in this box where we could grow or make things better or avoid bad decisions. Because memories that are easily recalled are typically insufficient for determining the likelihood that something will occur again in the future, this can lead to poor decision making. So in the end, this leaves us responsible for making the decision with information of poor quality on which to base our decisions. To avoid this, we will base most of our decisions on hard facts and data so that we don't base some of our decisions on something that we make or what's available right now, a small amount, when really there's a whole bunch of other info outside of that. We want to make sure we remain very flexible so that changes can be made. We have this really great idea. We have this important vision that we want to hit, but we also need to make sure we're open to other ideas, to what the needs and the issues are for the customer, or else we could end up making some costly decisions if we're just trying to fit what we want into this app and not listen to everything else. And so we just want to be very, very careful to avoid these three specific things so that we can make sure that we're doing the very best product for our customers and make Haulr the great thing that it can be.
Another important aspect of implementing our new business plan will be to understand how we might be able to nudge drivers to want to utilize the service and continue to use it over and over again. Nudging is a behavioral technique used to influence people's everyday choices and nudge them to a better option. Nudging is something that is regularly used in businesses today. For example, you might go to a restaurant and when receiving the bill, the waiter will provide some sort of gift, like a mint or other type of chocolate. It has been found when restaurants provide some sort of gift right before guests pay for their meal, they are more likely to leave a larger tip. In looking at our business plan, it will be important for us to consider how we might be able to implement some principles of nudging in order to improve overall performance. One approach would be to utilize the 4 design principles for change, which are to make it easy, make it attractive, make it social, and make it timely, also known as the EAST method. This is a simple yet proven way to implement policies that can have a positive effect on outcomes. I will quickly highlight each area and how we could implement these tools into our product. First, make it easy. This is a very important first step. One way we could consider in making it easy is to harness the power of defaults. This would be an opt-out type of situation, where the user would automatically be enrolled to be sent alerts about available jobs in the area. The alert would provide details about the job and a simple accept or reject button. Second, make it attractive. This step goes beyond just making the interface look good, but also making sure it is engaging. Uber implemented several ways to keep drivers engaged, some that worked and others that did not. We would need to be careful in this implementation, but it could be an area that engages users more. Third, make it social. There are 2 parts to being social. First, we would want to make sure users have easy access to getting support to address concerns as quickly as possible. The other part of making it social would be tapping into the network of users. It would be to our advantage to make sure drivers have a platform to communicate, as well as showing other truckers the benefit of using the service. Last, make it timely. This is a very important step in our process and could have a large impact on success of the business. We will want to make sure we collect data to understand the best times to send information on available jobs. If we are sending notifications too early, it would be easy to dismiss, as it is still too far away to plan. On the other hand, if it is sent too late, it could be too inconvenient for the user to want to accept. We would want to find the Goldilocks effect, where it is just right. These are just a few ideas of things we would want to consider in our new business plan and how we will be able to attract and retain users of our service.
Risk is crucial when starting a business. The reality is that it's not just taking huge leaps without considering the options that make businesses work. Calculated risks are what make business models succeed. The big difference between just taking a risk and taking a calculated risk is a consideration that goes into it. Risk takers don't think about the escape route, the factors that make it risky, and what the situation will be if they fail. Smart business people take calculated risks. They're willing to go big or go home, but they understand the consequences if they fail and have taken into account the likelihood that they'll succeed. So what risks do new business owners take on? There are 5 new types of risks business owners take on as they begin starting their business. Those risks include founder's risk, product risk, market risk, competition risk, and sales execution risk. So what is founder's risk? Founder's risk are: who are the founders? Do those founders get along? How much stake do each of those founders have in the company? Do they have a track record of success? And will these businesses be together and be their top priority? These are some of the things to keep in mind as looking at the founders of these companies. So what is product risk? Do you have a talented A+ head of engineering for an app or something you're developing? Will they be able to inspire and recruit other A+ engineers? Do you have a product that's serving and resolving issues? What's market risk? What is your total addressable market? Are you addressing a real problem? Are you able to solve that problem? Are there other competitors? What does the market landscape look like? What types of companies are you going after? These are all types of questions that need to be answered when looking at type of market risk. The next one is competition risk. So how do you plan on differentiating yourself in your space? Is there enough competition to validate the market? Looking at other companies that may or may not be similar to you, or looking at different types of apps that they may have to be able to capture the market, it's something that you really need to look at as far as looking at what type of competition there is in the industry. And the last one is sales execution risk. Do you have someone on your team who can get others to understand how your product solves their problems and to trade you money for it? Are you able to have people go out and sell these as it's the top of the line product, that they can get them on the same page as the way that you see it? This is big when it comes to sales execution. So all these risks are crucial elements to preparing to start your own business. Being a new business owner means being willing to take a look at these risks and decide if this calculated risk looks like a good idea for your organization. Then be willing to take the leap.
We know that there is a need out there for a company like Haulr. And after going through this decision-making process and using the tools that we had at our disposal, we know that we can implement what we have learned to minimize the risk and